people, and welcome to yet another episode of Liminal Conversations. This is my sixth episode, and what a journey it has been. Interviewing, getting to know people from different walks of life with different skills, different special aspects, what they're really specializing in. Today, I have a very special guest with me, and sometimes I call her Masi. She's a published author with 26 years of experience in education, imparting knowledge to thousands of students. And she's a healer. She's actually donning so many hats. I've known her since my childhood. मासी हैं, तो थोड़ी बहुत मैं दूसरी बातें भी इनके बारे में बता सकती हूँ कि शी इज़ एन अमेजिंग कुक, amazing baker, things that a lot of people will not know about her. But there is something I think that the world needs to know about her, other than the fact that she's a published author. She has, as you all can see in my frame, she has published all of these books from different genres. She is an amazing human being. She has a heart of gold. And I think that's what helps her connect to people. That's what keeps people coming back to her. Now, whether it's through her Reiki, through her tarot reading, or whether it's through her books, her literature. She's also doing workshops now, helping people in every way that she can. So, people, please welcome Mrs. Aneeta Sharma on Liminal Conversations. Welcome, Masi.
Thank you so much, Advati, and thank you for that amazing introduction. The best part I liked about it, I think, was when you said she's a good human being with a heart of gold. If I think we can achieve that in life, it's the ultimate. And everything else is just by the way. Thank you for having me here.
So, a very obvious question now that you're a published author and reading your books is always such a pleasure. A very obvious question, which I'm sure a lot of people have already asked you, is that how from education, imparting education, and then being a Reiki healer, a tarot reader, and then now, writing, publishing books. How, for the first question is, of course, how the change of heart, and also how the journey has been.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. And, the best part about my journey is that nothing has been planned. It has just happened by the way, things have just fallen into place. And since you're calling it a journey, I'll call it destinations. All the destinations that I have reached have just come to me, I think, by God's grace, by destiny. And that is why they have meant so much to me. Being you said, a teacher who's taught many students, that was, again, not a choice. I was always passionate about marrying into the army. And if you're an army wife, the best option for you to work is to be a teacher. So I became a teacher by default, though I loved every minute of it. I've been teaching across the country. I've taught in places like Leh. And you won't believe it, they were first generation learners who did not understand a word of English or Hindi. And I did not know a word of Ladakhi. But still, we
Wow.
communicated. Still, I could teach them. So, teaching I have enjoyed thoroughly. Tarot was a matter of interest. Reiki was again a matter of interest. Writing, yes. So I think all of us, every one of us without exception, have, that one book in their minds that one day I'm going to sit down to write that one book. So I too had that one book. And
That's when Home Run came into
yes.
existence.
And almost for 7 years, I was just on 3 chapters. I
Oh,
wouldn't go beyond that. And then I realized that I would have to quit my job if I actually wanted to write. So I took that decision. My family supported me. And then Home Run happened. So that was my first book. I thought it would be the only one, but I think the bug caught me. And then since then, I've been writing.
so there hasn't been any looking back
There's
since.
no looking back, no regrets at all.
And you enjoy it.
I enjoy it thoroughly. It's a stress buster for me. Writing is a stress buster for me.
So, I mean, I don't write. I try to, but I'm better off talking. That's why the podcast. But I really want to understand, as an author, जब हम लिखने बैठते हैं, so when we are writing, कैसे होता है ये? Is it like a movie playing in your mind? And then you start writing? कि अच्छा मैंने ये कैरेक्टर के बारे में सोच लिया, अब मैं इसके बारे में लिखती हूँ, और इज इट द अदर वे अराउंड, आप लिखते हो एंड देन यू इमेजिन?
Actually, see, the seed of the idea is always there in your mind.
Okay.
Like for Home Run, I had these two protagonists, and their lives, their experiences was something which I had seen firsthand. Maybe not what had happened to me, but happened to people close to me. And I felt that they made really interesting stories. Like, they say a fact is stranger than fiction. So there were some real life experiences around me which I felt could be, put down into a very beautiful story. So I began like that with that one idea in my mind, and then it just started rolling. I would get stuck at some place, and then I would sit and imagine, okay, what would happen if somebody was actually in this situation? Where would it lead? So,
So it's
from one
the
thing to the other, it just starts
so
happening.
it's the imagination that comes first.
Yes, imagination
You
in a
imagine
very
a
big way.
character in your mind.
I don't imagine characters. That's the best part, Ditu. Characters I pick up from real life. And I think that is the advantage of being somebody from the military background, from the army background. We've met so many people. I think each one of us who's from the army fraternity must have met at least 10,000 people more than what other people normally meet. So there were so many characters all around me that I could just pick up. People, their nuances, their ways of speaking, their behavior, and weave them into characters. So most of the characters in which are in my books are
Inspired by,
yes, they're fashioned on real people.
yeah, inspired by real
Yeah,
people you've met,
people
you've
I've known
people
intimately.
you've picked up, yeah, you've picked up personalities from,
Yes.
and then you thought I can just put them in a story. And
Yes.
how
And
beautiful is that?
another very interesting thing I'll tell you, for some characters, like I wanted to get somebody, and the thing was just eluding me. So what I would do, I was in Noida, and I would travel by metro, and I would go, have no destination in mind. I would just have my pass with me. I would go sit down, and I would keep observing people around me, in the coach, how they talk, how they behave, some who are just stuck to their mobiles. And that also gave me so many ideas to weave into my characters.
And that's such an amazing thing to know. I mean, this is actually an insight into an author's mind. It is so beautiful to know this. Uh, so Home Run, and then the Dalhousie
With
murders, which
us.
was an investigative thriller,
Yeah.
and then A Handful of Dewdrops, which is my personal favorite. I've always said that to you. A Handful of Dewdrops is poetry, and then of course we've had the ENQ Mantra, which is her latest, and then we had Cantonment Chronicles, which was again a very light-hearted thing. She picked up, anecdotes from the military life, which was amazing. But so many different genres. I mean, from a contemporary fiction to investigative thriller, then poetry, then of course true stories, and then of course the self-awareness genre.
Yeah.
Uh, First question, of course, is why are you not sticking to one genre? One is this, and the second, I mean, what drives you to write almost about everything? I think the next thing should be a haunted story from you. What
Horror.
one?
No, I'm scared
Haunted.
of horror, so I think that is something I will never
Haunted,
touch.
haunted, please. We want that. I mean, I would be really excited to hear padna hai types. Huh?
No.
But how come you are, drawn to such different genres? And I'm going to ask you a very honest question. Is it detrimental to an author to be able to, because if you see mostly authors in the world
Mhm.
are usually sticking to one genre. They don't really, diversify. But what is amazing about you is that you write in different genres and equally, well. How do you manage to do that?
Okay, so once again, this is not a matter of choice. I feel writing is basically creativity. And yes, though the stereotyped image is of one author being of a particular genre, like, Agatha Christie, you say, okay, queen of crime, she's going to write about crime. As somebody who's writing non-fiction, self-help books, you expect only those coming from that
Yes.
person. But when I start writing, it's just because of those ideas are filling into my mind and I want to put them into words. And mind is something which goes in 101 different directions. So, whichever direction it takes me at that point of time, I try to pen down those thoughts, those ideas, and they turn out into a book. Because, my daughter told me, she said, Mom, don't bother about what kind of readership you're getting or whether people are reading your books or they're selling. Do what you enjoy. So I'm doing that. So, if something hits me, okay, I want to write something which is full of suspense, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Whether it defines me as an author or not is secondary.
Basically, we call this the creative license.
Mm,
Creative author's license, because basically then, you have that, you can be like a poet's license.
a poetic license, yes. You can
You can just
move
write
around
about,
with
so it's
language,
so
yes,
so you're
change
saying that it's
words.
it's something similar.
Uh, I suppose you could call it that.
So you just
I'm just doing what my heart tells me. So my heart leads and I follow.
What are you
S-
working on now?
Aha. So actually, the
Let's
Dalhousie
let's let
murders.
let's tell our
Huh.
audiences about it.
The Dalhousie murders took off quite well, and I have created two characters in that. One is an inspector, and one is a detective. And many people asked me that, okay, are we going to see more of them? So the next novel, which may come out soon, is another investigative thriller. I call them investigative thrillers because though the title is murder, but the murder is just about, say, 2% of the story. 99% is the investigation. How do you go about trying to find out who's done it, and more importantly, why has he or she done it? So the next book, which is I'm working on, is a sequel to this Dalhousie murders. And I'm also working on a non-fiction simultaneously. I'll not tell you about it because it's in its last stage,
Oh,
and the
lovely.
publisher reserves the right to unveil it.
All right. So my next question to you is that, as an educator, uh, so I mean, my understanding is that writing a book is also a form of storytelling.
Definitely.
So as an educator, when you walk into a class as a teacher and when you are teaching, and I believe even teaching is a kind of storytelling, because when you walk in, you, even if it's a lesson that you have to teach, it has to come out in the form of a story which is can be communicated very easily to students. How do you think has it shaped your career as an author? Teaching.
Oh, teaching.
Has there been any connect?
Uh, I could say there has, yes, teaching is about storytelling because the best lessons are taught through stories.
Yes.
That is, there's no questioning that.
Yes.
Yes, teaching has impacted me because, I used to teach English.
Yeah.
And invariably, when you're a language teacher, the magazine, the editing, the writing, the scripting for plays and functions falls on the heads of the teacher, language teacher. So I think that gave me a lot of scope to hone my skills, writing skills. And my principal, who I credit with my, that the thrust she gave me at the beginning was Mrs. Aneeta Shah. And she would tell me, whenever there was anything creative to be written, she would hand it over to me. And then she would tell me that, you must write a book one day. And when you write, don't forget to mention me. So I did mention her in my acknowledgements of Home Run.
Yes, I've read that.
And I think that is what actually made me feel that, yes, I can write. And that's how it started. So, yes, teaching did lead on to
So
writing.
it has helped you,
Yes, definitely.
and it has been a part of your writing
Very true.
majorly.
Hmm.
Now coming to a slightly different. Going to give a very slightly different direction to this podcast. Talking about reading in this generation, of course, we have Kindles and we have our phones, devices that we can actually read anything on. We have PDFs of very good books and everything. And I too sometimes read a book through a PDF, which I can just freely download from the net. Do you think this? First question is, of course, do you think this generation reads less?
I think that's pretty obvious. Not only this generation, I think in contemporary times, everybody has started reading less. You can't just say it is the new generation. Even people like me, we used to read, I think when I was a kid, I used to borrow about 3 or 4 books from the library in a week. Nowadays, I hardly go to a library. So I think it's something which has impacted everybody across
There are
generations.
no town libraries now.
There are no town libraries. People don't go to
People don't go
libraries.
to
Uh,
libraries.
And you go to a mall or you go to a market, you'll find the bookstores are practically empty. People are not reading because they've got a very nice alternative in social media. And it is so much easier to access everything on your own device rather than to take out time, choose a book, sit down and read it. That is one reason. Another reason why I feel reading has gone down is that there is so much in the market. There are so many options. There are so many people who are writing books that it is very difficult to choose between the good and the average and the bad. So as a person who might be interested in reading picks up a couple of books and then realizes, oh God, it's not just worth it. So earlier there were fewer books, more takers. Now there are more books, fewer takers.
So you think it's kind of is it detrimental to the overall development of a society that
Or
reading has gone down? Because
de-
because people so when I talk of reading, I'm not just talking of books. I'm also talking of things like comics and newspapers and other things. I remember when we were kids, we would even read things like Amar Chitra Katha and Chanda Mama.
yes.
I don't see that anywhere now. This, I mean, I can still pick up a Chanda Mama and read it with as much enthusiasm as I used to when I was a kid. What is your take on this?
See, reading has gone down because that same content, whatever they would get in a Chanda Mama or a Amar Chitra Katha or whatever, is available on a audio or a visual thing. Like, I remember even storytelling, not just reading. Our grandmothers would narrate stories to
Oh,
us,
yes,
and we
yes.
used to love those hours when, we just sit with her and listen to all the stories she tell us about, Krishna and Sri Ram and Narad and so many Tenali Rama and so many fascinating stories. But these days, everything is available on as a visual thing. You just switch on the mobile or the tab or the TV, and the child gets a story. So obviously, the reading part has gone down, and I feel it is detrimental because reading is very good for the mind. See, you might get the same story on television,
Or on
you
your device.
or on your device, but there you do not get intellectually connected with the story. Because when you're reading and you come to some part, you'll pause, you'll think, you'll relate with it, you'll try to analyze what is happening. But in a movie or in something which is on visual media, the thing just continues. So you don't have time to reflect or to analyze what is happening or to enjoy it or to appreciate it. It just starts from one end and ends at the other. So you are a spectator, you're not a participator. That is why it is detrimental.
So I need to ask you this. There was a survey that was carried out a few years ago, almost a decade ago, which said that fairy tales are detrimental to the development of a child, overall cognitive development of a child. It doesn't help the child. It makes the child make stories in their head and have unrealistic expectations of life when they grow up. Obviously, nobody's a Cinderella, nobody's a Snow White, no princess coming on a horse to save you. Um, but I feel that I read a beautiful quote, and that was again on social media only. It said, "Fairy tales are not good because they show us that how princesses are being saved, but they also show us that how dragons can be slayed."
Mm, very nice. That's a lovely quote.
So, what's your take on this? I mean, do you think fairy tales are nice? I mean, you
I
have
think they're awesome. I grew up on fairy tales, and I don't think
Grimm's fairy tales.
Grimm's fairy tales,
Oh,
everything.
they were
And
amazing.
yes, and I don't think it has harmed me in any way, or that it has been detrimental to my intellectual growth, or that it made me have wrong expectations from the world. No, it didn't. They were beautiful while they lasted, and I still remember some of them because the best part of fairy tales was that they always had a happy ending. Lived happily ever after. So that filled you with optimism. You don't have to look at it that, okay, prince will come riding out of the blue, but that, yes, if you are good, something good will happen to you. So I think that's a very amazing philosophy to live with.
But again, if we go into a more philosophical aspect of fairy
Mhm.
tales, not every ending in life is happy. Real life is
I know.
unfair. Real life is, I'm not saying bad, but I'm saying it's unfair. And don't you think so? Why this survey came up, and because I'm into therapy, I read about this survey. I
Mm.
read about this research. Professors in Harvard did this research, and they said that when a child grows up with these kind of stories, which is why there are a lot of schools now, even in India, they don't encourage a child reading fairy tales. They don't encourage it, which I feel is I find it a little awkward because I have grown up reading fairy tales. I mean, whether it was a Hansel and Gretel, or whether it was
Mm.
a Cinderella, or whether it was a Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, whether it was Pinocchio, or whether it was Rumpelstiltskin, I've grown up reading these stories. And I think sometimes, I mean, I can share this on my podcast, I still watch Cinderella sometimes. It is so nice. I mean, it's free of cost on YouTube. You can go and watch the original 1953 Disney movie.
Mm.
It's so beautiful. So, of course, it shows a happy ending. It is amazing. You find that in the end, everything is okay and is in place where it should be. But, like I said, philosophically speaking, do you think that life is as fair as what is being shown or probably depicted in fairy tales? And do you think that is um, good or detrimental to the development of a child?
Look, now that's a very interesting question, but look at it from this point of view that fairy tales are meant for an age group of, say, 5 to 10, maybe 12 years old. And yes,
I'm still watching fairy tales.
there is, no, generally, that is time when it's going to impact the mind, influence the
Yes.
mind.
Yes.
And tragedy happens in life, but do we need to make children who are 5 or 6 or 7 years old conscious of the fact that life is not always beautiful? I think that is the age when the child must feel that everything around him is beautiful and nice. So why not read the
So
fairy
that will be
tales?
preserve the innocence of
Yes, and they will
childhood.
grow up
Yeah.
eventually to realize that there are challenges, there are tragedies, there are losses. Everything is not beautiful all the time, but that does not mean we need to tell them that right from the day they are born. So I think there's actually everybody has right to their own opinion. In a democracy, we agree to disagree. So if your Howard professors feel that fairy tales are not right, fair enough, they have a right to think that way. But I personally do not feel that beautiful stories need not be told because they will put blinkers on your eyes towards the tragedy in life. That is my take on it.
You think it doesn't make people more sentimental and soft?
I think sensitive, not sentimental and soft, but yes, definitely sensitive.
It keeps you in touch with your sensitive side.
Yes.
Yeah, very interesting.
Huh.
So again, going in the same direction, um, if today you were given a choice to introduce reading as a subject in schools, do you think you would introduce it in this age and age of social media, where that children, of course, chat GPT as well. I mean, children go home. I mean, we used to make projects. We used to go to libraries. We used to sit down, take out books from that for that particular project. उससे copy कर करके we used to make our projects. Do you think you will introduce this as a subject in schools?
Definitely, yes. And you know what, Adviti? Times are changing. Like, see, there was a time when mobiles had just come in, and you'd find every second person playing Candy Crush on their phones.
Or snake?
Huh? Or something like that. But now those games are out. So even this social media impact is going to be short lived. It's a new toy available to everybody. Everybody's fascinated with it. But there's going to be a time when you're going to realize that all this Instagram and Facebook is so repetitive.
I totally agree with you.
And
Yes.
it is so monotonous. Besides, now we have that additional thing of scams. So people are, gradually weaning away from social media, realizing that they can fall prey to something which is not very good for them.
Yeah, so AI can basically generate
Yes.
something which is fake.
Yes. And more importantly, I don't know whether you've been following these things recently. Lots of youngsters these days are moving away from social media, organizing bhajan jamming,
Oh yes, I've seen
where they
that.
get together in groups and they sing bhajans, they listen to bhajans. There are lots of reading cafes in Delhi, Noida, where you don't carry your mobiles. You just switch them off. There are books all around. You pick them up and you read them. So there has been a phase when people have moved away from reading, gone totally towards social media, and now I feel that they've reached the peak and they will come back to reading. So definitely, I would advocate reading in schools.
As a subject.
Yes.
It's interesting. I think I should. I mean, I would love it. I will probably join school again if reading is a subject. So again, my question to you is a question and something that I want to share with you. There are cafes now in Europe. I don't think I could be wrong. I mean, my audiences would know better. But of what I've heard is that the cafes now in Europe, across Europe, where you cannot walk in with any device.
Yes.
You cannot walk in even with your smartwatch. So they have lockers right outside the cafe. You remove your smartwatch, you keep your phone, laptop, whatever. You go in, they've kept books, they've kept a guitar,
Yes.
they've kept board games. Because all of that somehow
Yes.
with this device and the screen with us has really gone down. People don't play board games now.
Actually, it's not just the game, it's a real life connect. Because you get
Yes.
so much into the virtual world that you do not know how to connect with people. So I think that's a brilliant idea, and I think it's taking up. I think it's happening in Mumbai.
Yes.
Uh,
I'm not sure of
yes,
this.
they
Yeah.
have these kind of cafes where they say you cannot bring your mobiles, you
Yes.
cannot bring anything. You just have to come yourself
Yes.
and talk to people.
Yes.
So,
So I want to talk a little bit about your latest book,
mhm.
the ENQ
Okay,
mantra, and you've written it with Colonel D.D. Sharma. It's
yes,
you've co-authored it with him.
yeah.
Uh, Tell us something about it.
Okay, so now this is a very interesting book in a way because it started off with my Reiki learning. So as I started practicing Reiki and talking about it to my husband is fascinated with all this Vedic literature, with yoga. So anything I would tell him about Reiki and the Japanese way of healing, he would say, "This is already there in our Vedas." Like, we think Reiki is Japanese, but we have in our Ayurveda, I think. The book is called Atharveda. In that,
Yeah, it's one of the
huh,
Vedas.
it talks about, it deals especially with treatments and healing.
Yeah, Atharveda.
And
Yes.
it talks about something called Hast Chikitsa.
Hmm.
Now, Hast Chikitsa means healing by the touch of the hand. That is Reiki. So that was happening way back, long before Reiki and Tai Chi and Qigong and all these. These days there are so many alternative therapies, um, angel healing, touch of hand, but this was with us in India ages ago. And again, in the Upanishads, it says that no treatment, no healing is possible until your inner energy is suitably activated. So that energy has to be activated, then only any treatment can affect you. So we would get into these discussions, and that got me to reading about the energy healing systems of our ancient India. And then I realized that so many of us, you'll find that there are two people who have the same ailment, like, say, COVID. There were so many people who uh, had COVID, got out of it. So many people who succumbed, so many who had many long term symptoms. So, why this difference? Because maybe that energy which is inside them is not powerful enough to overcome that disease. They get the same medicine, the same treatment, but why don't they respond? So, there is something in us which has to help us to heal, and that is the energy.
Does that fall true even for terminally ill patients?
Terminally ill patients also, there are some, again, even like if you talk of cancer, there are some people who cope and manage to pull out of it. So it depends on how far your energy is. I
Yes.
mean, that is
How
my
your
belief.
mindset is.
Yes.
Yes,
How
yes.
strong, you can call it willpower, you can
Hmm.
call it
Your mindset.
strength of mind, you can call it destiny, whatever. But we came to the conclusion that there is something called energy within us. And ENQ is the energy quotient. So, like Maslow gave us, those four basic needs,
Hierarchy of need. Maslow's
hierarchy of
hierarchy of
needs,
needs.
physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. But then we realized that there is something much stronger and bigger than that, and that became our fifth quotient, which is ENQ, or the energy
Yeah,
quotient.
which is spirituality as well.
No, not spirituality, because spirituality is about discriminating between right and wrong, good and bad.
Okay.
uh, Energy is the power within you, which is going to help you to discriminate, which is going to help your spirituality, which is going to help your
Makes you
intelligence.
more discerning.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, like the Gita calls it consciousness, chetna. Gita says that your body is controlled by your emotions, emotions are controlled by your mind, mind is controlled by your intellect, and above the intellect is consciousness or chetna. So call it Chetna, call it consciousness, call it Chi. It is the energy, the biomass, the force, the living force
Or
inside you.
physics, yes.
So that is what, and then in this book, we try to look at it not from a religious point of view or a spiritual point of view, but from a totally scientific point of view. So we have studied the energy through laws of energy, through laws of nature, and tried to relate it so that people can understand it better and probably accept it better.
So you think it's basically, this is what we, I mean, I tell my clients even in therapy that it's all about how your mindset is.
Yes, mind over matter. But like I told you, the Gita says the mind is still a lower level. Chetna is higher because Chetna is a part of the supreme consciousness.
Mhm.
That is why, like we say, there is a bit of God in all of us.
Yeah.
So, God is the supreme consciousness, the Paramatma, and of that Paramatma, we are Atma. So, our consciousness, our energy is higher than our mind.
So this is what the book is all about.
That's what book is about.
So essentially, we're talking about the super consciousness in the book.
Yes, and connecting with that.
Very interesting. So now I'm going to ask you something slightly different. So supposing you've written so many different genres, you've written investigative thriller, self-awareness, and everything. How do you respond to readers who, when they don't interpret your work the way you would like it to be interpreted, or the way you would like? So, supposing Ian Q Mantra, you wanted people to probably understand about super consciousness, but there will be a genre of people, or there will be a cohort of people who will say, "We don't agree with what she's saying." Similarly, for your investigative thriller or for other books, how do you respond to that?
It's perfectly acceptable. Why not? I definitely do not expect that that billions of people out there, everybody has the same mindset as mine and would relate to a book the same way that I do. So it's perfectly all right. In fact, it is good if there are people who are critical, who tell you what the flaws are, because that helps you to improve. There's a very nice thing, I think Kabir Das wrote it, ki nindin nede rakhiye, आंगन कुटीर बनाए,
Oh, wow.
bin sabun pani bin kanchan kare nahi. It's something like that, which means that you should keep your critics closest to you. Make a cottage for them in your own garden, in your own backyard.
Because they'll be the ones
Because
who,
they are the
yes.
ones who will actually help you to evolve and improve. So good. There should be people who's, if everybody tells me, oh, your book is wonderful, then where will I
Somebody has to
grow?
tell you where
How
you've.
will I grow? So when people
Yeah.
tell me that no, this is not right, this is not correct, or I don't, it'll help me to look further.
It's constructive
So
criticism.
yes, I think that's more than acceptable. It's welcome.
So I'm going to be asking you a question now, which I really want you to talk
Hmm.
about. Is there a deeper question about life in general that you, about life, or maybe about people and how they behave, your personalities, or how people really react to different situations in life? That, you keep, that you as a person, you keep exploring through your books. You feel that, okay, this is one aspect. Maybe if I write about it, I'll learn more about it. What is that
Mm.
one, is there a deeper thing? Is there something deeper than just writing about a certain genre? Because I'm asking you this question because there's so many different genres that you're writing
Mhm.
in. Probably your next one will also be a different genre. Like I said, it has to be a haunted thing. So when you're exploring something, is there one deeper thing that you're really exploring? Through people, through your characters, through your writing? What is it?
I would not say I'm exploring anything, but when you come to my age, you start accepting people the way they are. And I think you'll find that common strand in all my characters, even the person who actually commits the murder.
Mhm.
You know, you'll be able to, get a window into his mind or her mind and understand why he or she did it and probably even sympathize with the reason. So I feel that what I have got from my writing is that you need to accept people the way they are. You cannot try to fit them into your shoes and then expect them to respond the way you would respond to a particular situation. And every person does have a genuine reason for doing or saying what he or she does. So I think that is what you would find is a common strand in all my characters. You would be able to relate with them that even when they're doing something wrong or saying something wrong, probably from their own perspective, they are right.
So, are you trying to justify a criminal or a crime, a
Mm,
character who's a criminal in your book? Are you trying to justify that particular thing?
no. I leave it open to the audience, to my readers,
I
what
want
they
to know
think.
what you think.
But I don't justify. I just put it across from both points of view. Because see, it's very nice to look at it from the point of view of the people who are on the side of the good, the people who are on the side of what is right, and say, no, oh, this person did this, he's wrong, he's bad, should be put behind bars, should be punished. I try to look at why and what from the other side as well without being judgmental. I will not say that I'm promoting the criminal. I will not say that I'm condemning him either. You know, just put across both sides and let each person be the judge. And I think every person would judge differently. If there are 10 people who say that he needs to be condemned, probably there might be two who will say that no, yes, I think he was justified in what he did.
But okay,
So,
so basically it's the question between right and wrong.
and then that exists in your mind. Right and wrong is not something which is, put down in a book that this is right and this is wrong. And between the black and white, there are so many grays. So I think it is each person's way of looking at things.
Yes. Um, so again, coming back to a question that we started on, which is about reading in this generation and how we've come down into I mean, we used to read so much when we were kids. If there was one thing you want to tell this particular age of generation, I'm not saying one particular generation, like you said, all of us are also part of that.
Equally party to it. Yes.
What is it that you would like to convey to everybody about reading? Should they start reading more? Somebody who's not interested in reading. Don't you think that, okay, so with the question, we call it the attention span. In the world, in the social media world, we call it an attention span. Attention span is so little.
Yes.
How do you expect somebody who has that kind of 1 second or 3 second attention span, who's just scrolling on reels and probably has an Instagram page where they can go and read the highlights of a certain book? You've seen those pages.
Mm.
People have created those pages. Now, why should I read the whole book when I can just do that? What do you want to say to such people?
See, the very fact that attention span is reducing is something which is very, very scary. Because if you want to achieve something in life, if you want to really get success in something, you need to give it concentrated time. And attention span is reducing because we have so much. Because we know that what I can read in, say, 6 hours, I'll get a hang of it in, say, 5 minutes. So, my advice to youngsters who can decide for themselves and for parents is that do inculcate reading because it will help your children to increase their attention span, which will help them to adjust better in life. Because a person who has a short attention span, who's quickly moving from one thing to another, will not be successful in life, will not be able to adjust to challenges in life. So, right from the beginning, get your children maybe reading. Everybody is not attuned to reading. Maybe some other hobbies, some other interests like drawing,
Which is not on a
painting.
screen.
Yes,
Yes.
which would help them to focus their attention on one particular thing for a much longer time. It is one of the basic life skills which is required these
But don't you
days.
think that's a little counterintuitive in today's world? Because people do three things at once and they're good at all three.
See, doing three things together or being multitasking, as they call it, is fine.
And being good at it.
And being good at it. But there will be times, there will be situations in life where you will need to focus on one particular thing for a longer time, even a relationship. Why do people fall in and out of relationships? Because they're not ready to give it that time. So there'll be many situations. You may be very successful at doing three things together. You are browsing something at the same time. You're writing something also and giving orders to your subordinates also. But there will be many times, many situations in life where you really need to sit down, think, plan, give it time. So for that, yes, attention span is important. That is my view on
And
it.
which can also be inculcated through reading.
Definitely should be. Reading is one of the things. There's so many others. There's so many other hobbies which
I
can.
mean, we're talking about reading in books. I mean, I know of so many of such Hollywood movies that have been adapted from books
Mm.
that have been written.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, Masi, the happiness that I have felt while reading it was not even 1% of the movie that I've seen of based on that book. And why do you think that is? Because we imagine characters in our mind, and
No, it's very simple.
it's like a
See,
movie playing in our mind.
no,
Tuck, tuck, tuck.
no, it's very, very simple and very basic. When you're watching a movie, it is just your eyes and your ears, which are engaged.
Okay.
The audio signals and the visual signals. But when you're reading a book, it's not just the ears and the eyes, it's also the mind. Because there, the mind is visualizing and imagining. In a movie, you don't need to visualize, it's all there in front of you. So if you want to keep your brain active, if you want to keep those gray cells ticking, it's better to pick up a book than to watch a movie.
Yeah, very interesting. So again, a very obvious question. Which of all these genres that you've written is your favorite genre? Something that you will write about again.
See,
Investigative
I've told you
thrillers.
I'm
Because you
already
told me,
doing. I'm
yes.
yes, I've got two more investigative thrillers coming up.
So that means that's your favorite.
No, it's not my favorite. Non-fiction is equally my favorite, and you'll be surprised that I'm also now dabbling in a historical fiction.
Oh my God.
There's no end to it. Everything
But something
new is
must be closer
fascinating.
to your heart.
They're all close to my heart. They're all my babies.
Some
And they're
genre must
all
be.
very, very close to me. I
One
think
genre.
anything that challenges the mind, like, it shouldn't be just plain reading and understanding, something which makes me want to understand what are the nuances behind what is happening on the surface. So, yes, investigative definitely is one of them.
Your favorite. Okay,
And
so I'm not asking you your favorite. Okay, so if you have to rank them from 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
all at one. They're all my children. How can it's not possible for a parent to say that child one is better than child two. So they're all at number one for me.
There must be one book that you've written till now that is your favorite. That you would like
I
to
think
read.
just like the firstborn is always
Home
very
Run.
special. So Home Run has a very, very special place in my heart because I put everything into it. So I suppose if I had to choose, I would say that that has a very, very, because that was the first book, the first time I realized that, yes, I can write a novel.
Yes. So
So,
it's very exciting. Yes.
yes.
Is there any one person in your life that has inspired you to become an author? Any one person other than your boss, of course, your principal.
Yes, I think she was the one who
Other than her,
pushed me towards it.
other than her, maybe
Uh,
somebody you've been close to.
Not exactly. Actually, a number of people have, whenever they read something I've written, like a short article or a short poem or something, they say you write well. So I think that just added impetus to my wanting to write. But not any one particular person per se who would have told me that, okay, you need to write. Or that who told, seeing that person that, yes, I will also write. I don't think so.
Not really somebody who pushed you to, other than
No,
of course.
nobody pushed me. It was my choice.
It was your
completely.
own choice. Oh wow, this is so amazing. We're going to end this podcast now.
Okay.
And this has been an amazing, amazing conversation. So much to learn about literature and writing, and because this is alien to me.
No, come on, you write well.
No, I speak, yes. Not well, I don't know. I don't know whether it's well or not. But
No, I've
I
read a
speak.
couple of pieces you've written and you do write well.
And I feel it is so, it has been such an insight and such a learning experience today. One last thing. Why don't you, and I read in your bio on Instagram that you're a bilingual
Yes.
author. आप कुछ कहते क्यों नहीं हमारे audiences के लिए? Something that they can carry with them.
Okay. Bilingual because I feel that no language describes emotions better than Hindi. हमारी जो मातृभाषा है इसमें भावों को व्यक्त करना ऐसा कोई और लैंग्वेज नहीं कर सकती है. So my poetry is basically bilingual, English and Hindi. If you give me a minute, I'll
Yes.
just read out a few lines for you.
Yes. Something that our audiences
Okay.
can, yes, take along with them.
So, बहुत छोटी सी कविता है. One sec, where is it gone? Yeah. It's titled Kashmakash, and it is about the struggle within a person. So it goes like this. मुझ में दो शख्स मौजूद हैं.
Wow.
एक मैं और एक हम. So me as a person and my ego. मैं जमीन से सटकर और हम परिंदों सा बेबाक. एक इस काया में कैद, दूसरा फलक में उन्मुक्त. फलक इज स्काई, दूसरा फलक में उन्मुक्त. एक हकीकत में उलझा, दूसरा हसरतों का मुरीद. Never wanting,
Yes.
Always wanting more of something.
Hoping, yes.
फर्क ज्यादा नहीं, फिर भी बहुत है. मैंने सर पर बांध लिया और हमने पैरों तले दबा दिया सब्र के उस सबक को जो जिंदगी ने सिखाना चाहा. So me
Wow.
has taken everything the world has tried to teach me, and hum says no, I don't care for anybody.
This is
So
this is amazing, really. I mean, what a lovely thought to really end this with, and I'm wishing you the very best of luck for your next.
thank you so
But
much.
please write one haunted story as well.
No, horror is.
Only about spirits, please.
I'm so scared of spirits. I would sleep with the lights on at night if I
I
started
think that's a
writing about
genre.
ghosts.
I think that's a genre you should really explore in. It'll be such fun.
Maybe a dozen years from now.
I mean, you've grown up in Shimla. I mean, you can. Shimla is known as a place which is haunted.
And my sister, your mother, she would create ghosts around the
Oh
corner.
yes, all the time.
Yes, all the time. Yes.
No, but really, thank you so much for doing this with me,
Thank you.
Masi, and this has been such a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much, and we will have more conversations. I think behind the scenes.
Definitely.
regarding this,
Yes.
and looking forward to your next.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.